I spent decades looking for validation from everyone else until I realized that I wasn't really myself and I was destroying my own peace and my own authenticity. I was seeking validation from friends, from family, from society. I guess you can say that I was people pleasing, saying yes all the time to things that maybe I didn't want to do. I wasn't respecting myself in ways that I should have by not setting healthy boundaries. So that meant that I was dispelling my energy constantly to people, events, projects, work, you name it, in areas that really were not aligned with really the person that I was. And the interesting thing is, for a long time, I don't think I was really sure who I was and what my values were. So it wasn't until I took the time to really assess what is important to me, what my values are, and how I can align my life better that I started to finally stop seeking validation. And mind you, this is still a work in progress. I still fail at this at times, but I'm doing so much better. And so even though it's kind of late in life, I mean, I am 54. I am so glad that I'm at this point, and it just feels so liberating and so much more peaceful. One of the things that society tells us to do is that we need to be partnered up, married. And I've had several relationships that unfortunately didn't work out, or fortunately, however you want to see it. And I can honestly say that I have so much freedom right now. I feel so much more peaceful being alone than I did in almost all of my relationships that I've had in the past. So I can honestly say that for the first time, I just feel so much more full in a lot of ways. You know how society tells us you're not whole until you find your other half? I definitely say that that is not the case, at least for me. These days, I feel so much more whole, so much more peaceful than I ever did when I was in my relationships. I'm surprised that I feel this way, and I wouldn't take it back for anything at this point. I think that we often don't question why society, family, friends say certain things or why we follow certain protocols or standards. It's really about finding what works for ourselves as individuals. And at this stage in my life, even though I know people look at me like, oh, wow, you're 54 and you're single, there must be something wrong with you. Or maybe I was the problem in relationships not working. And quite frankly, I'm so glad to be at that point where I really don't care what people think because I feel so much better right now as a solo person. And I want to just keep being in this state until it doesn't feel right anymore, until it's time to find a partner, or maybe not. I don't know. But I love where I'm at right now. There's tremendous freedom, there's tremendous empowerment and peace, as I've mentioned already. Being alone has also meant that I have broken the cycle of being in abusive relationships, toxic relationships. And that to me is such an important statement to be making to myself that I'm okay, I'm safe being alone. I don't need to be with someone, and especially I don't need to be with someone that is not respecting me in the ways that I deserve to be respected or talked to, or any of the ways that we show respect to another person. So, being alone can be a tremendously healthy way to live. And especially if you're learning to love yourself and spend time with yourself in ways that you hadn't given yourself the luxury of doing before. So, I love that I'm in this space now. Are you alone right now? If so, let me know how the experience has been for you. I would love to hear in the comments how you're navigating being solo at this stage in your life. The other aspect of this is that late in life, I'm learning how to set healthy boundaries in different areas of my life. in my family, in my living situation, when it comes to work, just in general. And it feels really, really good. I'm a very giving person. I like to collaborate, but sometimes I over give or I over collaborate, and I'm learning to pull it back more and give myself more respect, give myself more leeway to re-own my energy, reclaim my energy, and use that energy for other things that I really want to put that energy towards instead of constantly expending, giving out so that I'm depleting myself constantly. I think that I'm finally over that. I'm at a very conscious point where I'm recognizing when I'm over delivering, over giving constantly, especially when there's no reciprocity. And so when that happens, it's time to take a step back, reassess things, see where you need to honor yourself a little better, respect yourself a little better, and maybe set limits and boundaries so that you're protecting your peace a little bit more from either people that are sucking your energy or projects that maybe you don't want to be a part of or anything really in life. What about you? Have you been able to set some boundaries in your life in some way that made you feel really good? The other thing that I have learned is that friends are not going to stay forever. Some friends are seasonal. Friends have been coming and going all through my life. And in recent years, I met some really great friends that I value so much, and then I had to move away overseas. And I still maintain contact with those friends, and I hope to continue those friendships. But I'm also very conscious that they can fall away very easily because of that out of sight, out of mind thing that happens with us psychologically. We naturally want to be around people that we have friendships with because of the tactical nature of it. You know, you want to hug them, you want to see their eyes, you want to see their expressions in person. And when you don't have that, it can easily fall away. So even though it makes me sad that that might happen, I'm going to try my best to maintain those relationships. I unfortunately that's one of the hard parts of life. So learning to not be so attached to people and things has been another one of my life lessons at this stage in my ripe old age of 54. And lastly, I'm just really enjoying this time of not looking for validation from other people, but instead learning to like myself as best as I can. Just really getting clear with what I value and being in alignment with those values. You know, I really value my health, so I take the time to exercise, I take the time to eat better. I love dogs, so I spend time with dogs as much as possible and my cat. And I value a small group of friends that I can nurture, you know, nurture relationships with very specific people that I've identified in my life that I have a great reciprocal relationship with. And even though I mentioned that some of those relationships may fall away, I still value them. And so those are some of the things that I really value in my life. I love building this YouTube channel as well. And so I plan on continuing to do this with the most authenticity that I can possibly muster. And so my life is very simple, but I love it that way. You know, I love being out in nature. I don't have a lot of material things right now, and it feels great in many ways. That might change later. But for now, I'm just enjoying the simplicity of my life and aligning myself with the values that I have now because I'm just trying to enjoy my own company as much as possible. I know that when I get to a point that maybe I'll want someone else in my life, I want to know that I enjoy myself and love myself so much that now I'm ready to share my life with someone else because I know that I won't need that person. You know, they'll just be there to complement my life because I'm already whole and I'm already full with love and admiration and curiosity for what I'm all about already. Did any of this resonate with you? I hope so. And I would love to know what's giving you peace these days. Or is there something that you felt you needed validation from that you no longer do? Comment below.